Operational inventory discipline is absolutely critical because we sit here in, our boardrooms and we come up with these processes and procedures for how we want our inventory to be managed and how the warehouse is supposed to operate. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the guy with the forklift or the guy picking orders down on the floor. If you don't have enforcement of your procedures and practices, they're just not going to happen. I've seen it firsthand where you go into a warehouse and the rules are set up so that this thing should function. And when all the rules are practiced, the warehouse is a pretty happy place. But the reality is we're oftentimes not getting called out to count places that are, well taken care of. And that's because procedures and practices fall by the wayside because, oh no, we've got to get this order out, or it's, the Christmas rush and we've got to get everything out in time for Christmas or Black Friday or what have you. That's the main problem, is that you spend all this effort coming up with these practices and procedures, but then you don't put any effort into the actual enforcement and figuring out who's going to enforce it, because you probably aren't going to. How well is it going to be enforced? And, realistically, you should probably set up some KPIs around that to make sure that people actually have clear, actionable ways to see they are or are not using the processes and procedures that were laid out for them. Something else to note too is that you can probably figure out if they're doing well with their processes and procedures by if you have to call us or not. If you call us to book a job, then chances are things are not going well. A lot of times we're like ServPros. Sometimes we're just auditors, but that's far from the case usually. Short-term benefits of just getting it done is great. You get the order filled, you get to go home, you get to relax. But the long-term costs that's going to haunt you. You're going to have to wonder, is your boss going to come chase you and get upset with you? Or you also have to wonder, are we going to need a full count? Because your cycle counts are going to fall apart when you don't have inventory where it should be. And when you don't follow proper procedures, that's how inventory ends up where it shouldn't be. And so keeping your space clean and orderly is just setting yourself up for success. And when you collapse that, it's just sacrificing and procrastinating or putting off paying till tomorrow. You're going to have to pay, and you're probably going to have to pay with interest. I think some early signs of inventory discipline failing is you start to see things that show up in incorrect locations. So the system will say that, you've got this part in location A1, but you go to location A1 and you've actually got this part and another part. And hands-on, you'll see it when you're, for instance, at Home Depot and you notice that a light switch that shouldn't be in that spot or an outlet that shouldn't be in that spot is in that spot. And it can be quite frustrating as a customer, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're trying to run an entire enterprise off of that. And you're moving quickly and you need to be able to trust that when I go to location A1 to pick this item will be there, and only this item will be there if it should be there. And so I think those early warning signs of an item out of place, one item out of place is nothing, but 2 becomes a pattern, and 3 is absolutely something you should look into. And the sooner you stop it, the less work you have to do to get it back on track.